The year is 2122 and we have travelled 100 years into the future on Football Manager 2023. So let's take a look at what's been going on. Okay then, so this is what the Premier League looks like, and you can see that Chelsea have broken some Newcastle dominance to take the title this season by 8 points. If we have a look at who else is in the league, Blackburn are in Europe, Preston are in Europe as well. There are 9 European places right now, 6 in the Champions League, which is a little bit ridiculous. But other Premier League teams, Lincoln are up in the Premier League. Cardiff have just got relegated. Fulham, who you remember from 50 years in the future, so 50 years ago from this point, were champions. They have just been relegated. So it looks like Newcastle are the top side at the moment. Preston up there as well. Fulham, as of 20 years ago, were Premier League champions, and they've just been relegated. It's looking like Preston had a good stint of domination in the 90s. Fulham still up there. Forest getting quite a few titles in the 70s and 80s. Fulham once again, Arsenal. So Newcastle, Liverpool, Fulham, Arsenal, Preston, all getting titles. Chelsea, as we get into the 2100s, finally coming to the fore as well. And if we look at Newcastle, let's have a look how many titles they've won over the years. 21 Premier League titles, which is a little bit more than the 4 that they had to begin with. So they've won 17 in this save, 6 Champions Leagues by the look of it as well. But they have not been outside of the top 5 by the look of things for a long, long time. They have got quite a lot of debt though. That's interesting. If we have a look in the Championship and see what else has been going on, see if we can find any fallen giants. Obviously, Lincoln won the title last season. Middlesbrough have won it for the 3rd year out of 6, which is interesting. AFC Telford up there, just missing out on playoff promotion. Obviously, the playoffs haven't finished yet, given where we've saved. Anyone massive? Bath up in the Championship. Ipswich, Sutton, Swindon all getting relegated there. Crystal Palace just missing out on relegation. I think Telford and Bath are the only 2 massively surprising teams in the Championship. If we have a look at League One, Wrexham have gone up via the playoffs with Halifax and Swansea. Ebbsfleet up there, Chesterfield up in League One now as well. Notts County down in 12th. Anyone else of a massive surprise? FC United, Luton, Gateshead, Cambridge all going down. Nothing massively shocking really going on in League One. As we drop down to League Two, I've not seen any massive Premier League sides down here just yet. No one in here. Any great surprises? No. Bolton down in the middle of the table just behind Mansfield. No, nothing massively shocking in League 2. No big fallen giant teams. Let's have a look in the National League as well. As we're here, we might as well. Hereford winning the National League this season. Anyone really? QPR down in the National League. Bournemouth. QPR and Bournemouth both in the National League right now. Bottom end of the National League as well. It's not really good for them. Nobody else down there. That's just the 2 Premier League sides. Wigan in the National League as well. Obviously, they're not a Premier League side at the moment. Birmingham have won the National League North, so they've fallen quite a long way. Anyone else? MK Dons down in the National League North. No Premier League sides by the look of things. If you have a look in the National League South, and it's a similar story really. No massive surprises. Wycombe down there. No Premier League sides have fallen down to this level, at least. If I've missed a Premier League side and you'd like me to find them and see where they are, let me know in the comments. If you want to see anything, by the way, and I've not mentioned it in this video, let us know down in the comments as well. Right, if we go to League 1, it looks like Marseille have broken the PSG dominance, and it looks like a lot of dominance as well, so we've come in right at the right time for Marseille. The season has finished. Now, there are only 17 teams in Ligue 1 now. I'm not sure when that change happens in real life, but we can check at some point as well. It looks like PSG have been utterly dominant, though. There's no massive surprises in the top tier of France, but looking at this, PSG have won pretty much every season. I mean, there's a couple of Monacos, a couple of Lyons. It's since the 90s that PSG have been dominant again. Lyon, Monaco having a good spell there. PSG a couple in the 80s. But Monaco were the side of the 70s and 80s, it looks like. But PSG have come back to the fore. If I've not covered something since the 50-year video that you want me to look at as well, again, comments is the best place to go. As we look, PSG have won 75 French titles, which is an awful lot. They've finished a low point of 5th in the last 20 years. Otherwise, they're in the top 2 every season. Plenty of Champions Leagues as well. I think they've just won this season's Champions League, which we'll get to in a second. If we have another look through France, we'll see if there's any big shocking sides in Ligue 2. but I'm not massively seeing any jumping out here in Ligue 1. If we have a quick look, Paris FC and Toulouse in the playoffs there. Red Star up in the playoffs. Anyone massively shocked? Châteauroux, Dunkirk. No, I can't really see any big fallen sides in France. We'll go across to the Bundesliga now and see how dominant Bayern have been. Pretty dominant by the look of things. They've won the title on goal difference this season over Hoffenheim. That's their 40 millionth title in a row by the look of things. Leverkusen. Oh, Stuttgart. In fact, Stuttgart had a spell of domination for a good 10 years there before Bayern came back. And Stuttgart looked like their second. Well, it was Bayern and Stuttgart for a long time. Bayer Leverkusen on the other side winning. They had a big spell in the 80s and 90s as well. Frankfurt, as we saw at the end of the 50-year video, they were just coming to the fore. But it's been Bayern, Frankfurt, Leverkusen, Stuttgart. They're the big four teams by the look of things, with Hoffenheim and Wolfsburg all being in the mix. 82 Bundesligas now for Bayern Munich and 21 Champions Leagues. That's quite a lot. If we have a look at the rest of... we'll have a look at the rest of the Bundesliga, see if there's anyone massively surprising up here. Magdeburg, I don't know if that's SV Meppen. I don't think they're a top-flight side in Germany. I'm not even sure if they're a second Bundesliga side in Germany. But they are currently bottom of the Bundesliga and getting relegated. If we have a look at two Bundesliga, Würzburger Kickers, Chemnitz, Munster finishing fourth. Quite a few different sides in Germany. We're going to go over to Italy now and see if there's been an equal level of dominance. It looks like Lazio, Juve, Inter, the top three teams. Palermo up in fourth. We like Palermo on this channel right here. Milan in the European place as well. Chiesa-Sona. Not sure who they are, but there we go. That's the current table in Serie A. Let's have a look at past winners as well. Juve are the common thread. Lazio, Inter getting a few titles. Napoli picking one up just after the turn of the century. But a lot of Juve dominance since the 50-year video. There's only a few titles they've not won up until the last few years. If we have a look at how many Scudettos they've won over the course of history, it's an awful lot. 102. It's quite a few, that is. They've got 10 Champions Leagues as well, which is quite a few as well. Right, we'll have a look at Serie B as well whilst we are in Italy to see what's going on over there. We have a look at the league table. Atalanta taking the title this season. Playoffs still yet to happen. Cynthia Balongo, never heard of them. Catanzaro, there's quite a few teams in Serie B I'm not familiar with. But now it's off to Spain, who are the fifth highest competition. Hang on, Tenerife? What? And they look like they are dominant at the moment as well. So Real and Barca are still in the European places. Las Palmas up there. Sevilla. Ibiza in the top flight as well. Cultural Leonesa have got relegated. Castellón, Langreo, there it all look like new teams. But Tenerife have been utterly dominant for the past 20 years. All but 3 titles since the turn of the century. And that comes after a lot of Madrid dominance. Real and Atletico taking all of the titles before then. But come the turn of the century, Tenerife have been utterly dominant. They have got quite a lot of debt, though, and a negative bank balance. But they've won 18 La Liga titles out of the last 20 years. That's quite a lot. They are... That's impressive. That is the biggest shock I've seen so far, apart from maybe Preston winning the Premier League. But that level of dominance from a Tenerife side is impressive. If we look at the second tier in Spain, there's 22 teams now, so it's not finished just yet. Granada, who I remember were just in the European places after 50 years, they're in the second tier now. Tenerife B are in the second tier, ahead of Real Madrid's B side. But no one massively jumping out as shocking down in the La Liga Smart Bank. So we'll now go to the 8th best league in Europe, which is the Scottish Premiership, the only other league we've got loaded. Rangers, Celtic, Hearts at the top. Ross County in Europe with Aberdeen as well. No massively no non-league sides basically in the top flight of Scotland. Let's have a look. Rangers and Hearts recently. Celtic before that. Ross County getting a three-peat by the looks of things as well in the late 90s. In fact, Ross County have won quite a few titles. But yeah, it looks like Celtic, Rangers and now Hearts are the top few teams in Scotland. Rangers, let's have a look, have won 85 Scottish titles. I think Celtic will have won more than that if we have a quick look at Celtic. Their old firm rivals, yeah, 104, so they've still got 20 more. Scottish titles than Rangers, and they've still not won a Champions League since then. Right, let's have a look through the rest of the Scottish League, see if we've got any surprising sides jumping out at us. Not massively in the Championship. There's probably a few sides that shouldn't, well, that aren't currently in the Championship, but they're not non-league sides as far as I know. Broomhill look like they're not in the League One. Formartine, they look new. I don't think any other Scottish sides are new there. If we look at League 2, I think this is where we're going to find Broomhill. Yes, it is Broomhill there. Anyone else? Spartans, Rothers, Bonnyrigg Rose, Gretna 2008. Plenty of sides in the Scottish League 2 that I think are pretty new to league football. I say pretty new. It's been 100 years. Maybe they're not that new. Anyway, right. If we now move not to the Scottish Youth Cup, but to the Champions League. And when I say Champions League, I mean the Conference League, because we're going to work up in Europe. But Rosenborg have won the Conference League recently. So there was a lot of discussion in the comments of the 50-year video about sides from leagues that aren't loaded winning in Europe. And that's quite a surprise there that Rosenborg have won it. We're going to have a look at the past winners. I can see Blackburn have recently won a Conference League title, which is excellent. We'll have a proper look at Blackburn in the not-too-distant future. Luzern, they're not a loaded league. They've won the title. Zurich. Preston taking a Malmo, a Swedish side as well, and Dunstrada. Who are these? Who is this? They're a Slovakian side. FK Dak, Dunajka Strada. That is impressive. So they've won a couple by the look of things. No, so they've won one. Sorry, I thought I saw them again. They've won one Conference League title. Austria Vienna. They're a new. A non-league loaded side. Oh, there we go. Done straight again there. So they have won two. They made it to 3 finals by the look of things. Groningen, Midtjylland, Ludogorets, all winning, Anderlecht as well, all winning a Conference League title. So it looks like leagues that aren't loaded are still producing Conference League winners. We'll see if that's a common thread for the Europa League and the Champions League. I imagine it's not for the Champions League, but we'll see what the Europa League looks like. It's English dominance. Spurs, Preston, Fulham, the last 3 winners. Milan, Leverkusen, no one jumping out as from an unloaded league. Blackburn have won 2 Europa Leagues by the look of things, which is really good. European glory for the Rovers. That's what we like to see. I don't see Burnley on this, do you? No, I don't see Burnley anywhere. No one jumping out as coming from an unloaded league by the looks of things for the last 50 years. No, Preston are very common in here. I saw Blackburn reaching a final, losing to Spurs, which is disappointing. I suppose they finally need to get revenge on the 2002 Worthington Cup final. But the Champions League has been won by PSG for the last 2 years. They've made it to 4 of the last 5 finals as well by the look of things. Arsenal taking 4 and 5. Lots of Stuttgart. In fact, Stuttgart won 5 out of the last 20. This is not bad at all. Juve up there. Preston once again. Leverkusen, Newcastle. No, Preston are the smallest side by the look of things. Forest taking on Frankfurt, getting a few there. So at the 50-year video, Frankfurt were just at the beginning of their three-peat. Monaco taking a couple. Fulham are still up there at that point. But yeah, let's have a look. So Bayern have won the most Champions Leagues now at 21. Chelsea have got the most Europa Leagues at 10. And it's probably going to be an English side. It is. It's Spurs winning 5 Conference League titles throughout the save. Right. Where are we going to head next? I think we're going to head to... not the Copa Libertadores. We're going to head to the World Cup next, I think. We'll go World Cup. We'll work our way through the international competitions, and then we'll head to South America, because that was mentioned as somewhere we probably need to check out. So, as you remember last time, England had won 2 World Cups back-to-back. They won 3 in a row. They beat Wales in a final. The first of 3 finals that Wales lost in a row. It looks like Brazil, finally a non-European side, have won the World Cup. It took until the 2080s. They've won 2 by the look of things. Spain, Germany, France have also won. They're the only winners of the way, by the look of things. Wales lost 3 finals in a row. That is impressive and funny at the same time. Argentina made it to a final. Anyone else? No one's looking. Turkey up there in the 70s, but we saw that in the last video. Yeah, I don't think there's many massive shocks in the World Cup, at least at the final stage. We'll have a look at England, and I think it's 8 World Cups they've won now. But we'll have a look at their trophy cabinet if we get there just a second. Yeah, 8 World Cups, 3 European Championships. So we'll have a look at the European Championship in just a second. They've won the Euros and Copa America Super Cup. Is that a thing now? Must be a thing now. Won the Europa Nations League. Sorry, the UEFA Nations League 13 times. Well done, England. Let's have a look at the Euros, though. Spain, the most recent winners. If we have a look, not at records, at past winners, France have won it 8 times. If we look, so 72, France won. Wales did win a Euros. So that was during their run of 3 finals in the World Cup. Spain, Germany, France, England, Italy, Belgium. No big shockers in the Euros by the look of things. We'll have a look at Copa America, and I imagine this is going to be all Brazil and Argentina. But we didn't cover this in the last video, so we'll start from the start, essentially. Argentina, Mexico winning it, and then a couple for the US as well. That's interesting. And then Brazil, Argentina, basically Colombia, Mexico getting a couple of finals for Colombia as well. US winning again in the 2096 edition. It's all Brazil, basically. All Brazil, all Argentina, as you would expect in South America when there's no other leagues loaded. That doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Right, now we're going to head to the Copa Libertadores, the equivalent of the Champions League in South America, and it looks like Emelec. Oh, Emelec have won. Where are Emelec even from? Are they Ecuadorian? They have been utterly dominant in the Libertadores. Yes, they are Ecuadorian. Got massive bank balance, great reputation. We don't want landmarks. They've won the Sudamericana and the Libertadores constantly, by the look of things. They have won a lot of Libertadores as I'm falling through the menus. Right, they've won all of them, basically. Botafogo, Tolima, Sao Paulo. But we're looking since the 2090s at least. If we go even further back, yeah, it's even further back. The 80s, the 70s. Wow. So their dominance really started in the 70s. They picked up a lot of time. In fact, no, it started even earlier. Let's not lie. The 40s, I think they won their first title. Fluminense winning in the 30s quite a few times in a row. But Emelec, utterly dominant, and I've never heard of them. We're going to go to Brazil now because that was one of the ones that's been requested. And as you can see, there are plenty of different winners, but no one jumping out as massively surprising. RB Bragantino, the only one I've really spotted who I don't think have won it before. Atletico Paranaense, International. Yeah, all looking like, as you'd expect with a league that's not loaded, no massively surprising sides as we go through the 100-year history of the Brazilian Serie A. Winner in the Flamengo and Atletico Mineiro were the 2 most recent winners, which is the same in the real world as well. If we go now, we'll find an Argentinian side if we can. It might take me a few minutes to figure out who is Argentinian in here, if they've even made any finals. I think last time I looked, Racing Club were yep, they are. So we'll have a look at Argentina via this way, and I think Racing Club were the dominant side last time I looked at this after the 50-year point, but Colón are up there with them as well, in the top 2 the last 3 seasons. San Lorenzo, Argentinos Junior, Newell's, old boys up there, have won a few titles recently. Boca, not really the dominant side you'd expect. River Plate getting a couple of titles as well. If you go into the 30s and 20s, it looks like it's River who have won most of the titles in the immediate future, but Racing Club are the top side in Argentina. Right now, the MLS is the next place we're going to go to. Again, that was one that was requested. So if you've got any requests, let us know in the comments, and we'll let you know what happened in those leagues and nations. Right, LAFC and Toronto are the top 2 sides by the look of things. It looks like a lot of LAFC, Atlanta up there as well. Toronto winning a few titles, Galaxy getting a few titles, but all LAFC actually. If we look for the last 50 years, it's been LAFC. Seattle taking a title in '74. Yeah, it's all the LA sides by the look of things. Galaxy getting a few, but FC basically dominating the MLS for the last 100 years, which is good for them, but not very good for competitive football. Right, we want to go to Wales next. That was another request to check out what's been happening in the Welsh League, and I'm going to guess they're 11th in the world, actually, and my guess would have been correct if I got it out in time. TNS. Look at that. Look at that. That is utterly ridiculous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 league titles out of 100 years have been won by a side other than TNS. And it looks like Connors Quay have finished 2nd in pretty much every season as well. Right, we want to look at Blackburn next because I want to look at Blackburn. So sorry, you're going to have to wait. Blackburn, let's have a look at their history. They've not won the Premier League title at all in this 100 years. Okay, right, so we have won a couple of FA Cups, a couple of Europa Leagues. We've seen that. A Super Cup by the look of things. Yep. Far too many championships, 6 of them. It's fine. That's okay. We can handle that. Conference League. We've won a Sky Bet League One, which is disappointing. A Carabao Cup and a Community Shield or two. Papa John's Trophy. We've not won any Zenith Data Systems Cups because that's an old. Anyway, we've been in the Premier League for the last 20 years as well. Let's have a look at the history. We've been in the Premier League for a long time, which is always good. Top half of the Premier League. A couple of championships. It looks like in the 50s we were back in the Championship. Dipped into League One a couple of times, but it looks like we've dropped into League One before we've got into the Premier League again, which is a little bit disappointing. But from the 60s onwards, basically, we've been a Premier League side, which is good because we've got a 4.5-star reputation, plenty of money in the bank. Estimated value of over £1 billion, which is all good, but we need another Premier League title. That's disappointing in 100 years that we've not won a Premier League title. Right, Ipswich were on the list of requests, so we'll have a look at Ipswich. They are just being relegated from the Championship, so apologies if you want to success for Ipswich, but they don't think they've won anything. Maybe some League Ones. Yeah, they've won some League Ones. And the Papa John's Trophy. Okay, that's good for them. They've been in the Championship and League One over the last 20 years. Hopefully they've not dipped into the League Two. Sorry, that button's not working for some reason on Ipswich. We'll go to the competitions history. Let's have a look. So Championship, League One. Championship, League One. They're a yo-yo side over 100 years. League One. Have they dropped into League Two at all? Not by the look of things. It's been Championship and League One all the way. Yeah, no dropping into League Two, which is a consolation. Let's have a look at the next side on my list. It was Bolton, and I think we've already seen that they are mid-table in League Two. Yes, they are. We'll have a look. They play at the Nat Lofthouse Arena, which is new. Looks very nice. Let's have a look at their overview. Have they won anything? Some national leagues, 4 national leagues. I suppose that's one thing. Papa John's Trophy, few League Two titles, one in League One titles. Yep, they've been all over the place. They've not won the Championship, but looking at their last 20 years, they've been in the National League, League Two, League One, back down to League Two, back to the National League. They've been all over the place by the look of things. League Two and National League recently, League One, National League, Championship. They've been everywhere. They've been basically in every league apart from the Premier League. It looks like Championship, League One, League Two, National League. Yeah, they've been up and down the leagues over 100 years, which is what you'd expect, really. I guess you'd expect them to be up and down the leagues, but I know they've won the National League recently. They finished 3rd and then 1st in the last 2 seasons in the National League. Right, Cardiff is the next team on our list of ones to look at. Again, if you want to see more things, let us know in the comments and I'll find out what they've been up to. Cardiff look like they've been at the bottom of the Premier League for the whole season. Spent most of their time in the Championship, a little dip into League One, a little dip into the Premier League by the look of things. They won League One recently. They won the Carabao Cup. Not anything out there, all Welsh trophies that they can't compete for anymore. But if we look at their history of competitions, I'm going to suggest that they've literally been a Championship side, dipping in and out of the leagues around them throughout the 100-year history. Yeah, it's been very Championship, the odd Premier League visit, the odd League One visit. But yeah, very Championship heavy for Cardiff, which is okay. In fact, I say the odd League One visit. It looks like just one visit, and they won League One at a canter. Anyway, this is the Premier League, and I don't think we're going to cover anything else. You need to let me know in the comments down below if you want more things covered. If you want us to do a 150-year video, again, we can do if you let us know. We'll keep the simulation running in the background. But yeah, if there's things you want us to look at in this 100-year, let us know in the comments. I'll try and respond back to you as quick as I can. We might even put a save game link up. We'll see if that can happen. And let us know if you want to see that. Right, that's been the end of this video. Thanks a lot for watching. There's going to be some more videos appearing after my face has disappeared. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot for watching. See you next time.